Is the secret to living to 100 simpler than we think? Most people believe that reaching 100 means intense workouts and strict routines. But what if true longevity has little to do with exercise, and everything to do with how we live each day? In this video, we'll explore 6 simple yet powerful lifestyle habits found in the world's longest living communities. Backed by research, these habits aren't about extreme fitness. They're natural, sustainable ways of living that nurture both body and soul. You won't need to run marathons or spend hours in the gym. Instead, it's about moving gently, connecting deeply, and embracing life with purpose and joy. These habits support health in a quiet but lasting way. They remind us that living well is less about discipline, and more about rhythm, community, and the way we show up for ourselves and others. If you're hoping for a longer, more fulfilling life, stay with us until the end. What you'll discover might just change the way you see aging, and inspire you to live each day with more peace, connection, and meaning. Let's begin. Number 1. Cultivating gratitude and a peaceful heart. As we grow older, life inevitably brings its share of loss, change, and uncertainty. But among the people who live the longest, and often the most peacefully, there is one trait that gently rises to the surface: gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a feeling. It's a practice. A way of looking at the world that softens sorrow, brightens joy, and gives each day a quiet kind of meaning. Long-lived individuals often share this quiet strength, the ability to see beauty in the simple, to give thanks even in the face of difficulty, and to focus more on what they still have, rather than what they've lost. Science once again confirms what the heart has always known. Regular expressions of gratitude have been linked to better sleep, reduced inflammation, improved emotional well-being, and even healthier heart function. It helps regulate stress, strengthens resilience, and enhances relationships. Consider Helen, 91, who keeps a small notebook by her bed. Each night, before she sleeps, she writes down 3 things she's thankful for. Sometimes big, like the birth of a great-grandchild. Sometimes small, like the warmth of afternoon sunlight on her porch. She says it keeps her anchored in hope, even on the days when her body aches or the house feels too quiet. Gratitude invites us to pause, to notice, to breathe, and to remember that even in aging, even in loss, there is still much to be cherished. In many of the world's longest living cultures, this gratitude is expressed through simple daily rituals. A prayer over food, a moment of stillness at sunrise, a smile exchanged with a neighbor. These aren't grand gestures, but they are deeply grounding. They remind us that peace isn't found in perfection, it's found in presence. When we cultivate a peaceful heart, one that holds both joy and sorrow with grace, we age not with fear but with acceptance, not with bitterness but with wonder. So if you're looking for one more powerful life-extending habit, consider this: practice gratitude. Start or end your day with reflection. Speak kindly. Forgive when you can. Let your heart rest in what is good and enough. Because the secret to longevity isn't just in the body. It lives in the spirit. And a grateful spirit can carry us farther than we ever imagined. Number 2. Keep your mind alive. The lifelong gift of learning. When we talk about living a long, fulfilling life, we often focus on caring for the body. But one of the most powerful, and sometimes overlooked, ways to support longevity is by keeping the mind engaged, curious, and alive. People who live to 100 often share a common trait: they never stop learning. Not necessarily through formal schooling or complicated mental exercises, but through curiosity. Through reading, exploring new interests, solving everyday puzzles, and staying mentally involved in life around them. Just like muscles, the brain needs exercise. Without stimulation, it can begin to slow down, leading to lapses in memory, focus, and clarity. But when we feed the mind, through stories, conversations, challenges, and new experiences, it grows more resilient. In fact, research shows that those who engage in lifelong learning are far less likely to develop dementia or cognitive impairment. Let me share the story of Margaret, an 85-year-old former schoolteacher. After retirement, her days became routine: chores, television, and quiet evenings. Gradually, she began noticing forgetfulness, moments of confusion, and a lack of mental clarity. But instead of resigning herself to decline, she made a gentle shift. She joined a local book club, She began her mornings with crossword puzzles and even enrolled in a virtual history course, something she'd always been curious about but never had time for. Within months, her mind felt sharper, her mood lifted, and she felt once again connected to the world. Mental vitality doesn't require dramatic effort. It lives in the simple things. Learning a new recipe, playing a strategy game like chess, watching a thought-provoking documentary, or engaging in meaningful conversation. Every new experience is a gift to the brain, a way to spark new connections and keep it flexible. But there's also a hidden danger in sameness. When our routines never change and we stop seeking new input, the mind begins to retreat. That's why people who stay mentally and socially active, whether through travel, hobbies, or spirited conversation, tend to maintain stronger cognitive health. Their brains are constantly processing, adapting, and growing. Even talking with others has a powerful effect. Conversations require memory, attention, empathy, and quick thinking. They're one of the most natural and joyful forms of mental exercise. In fact, centenarians who regularly engage with others, telling stories, discussing current events, or simply sharing laughter, often show slower cognitive decline than those who become socially withdrawn. So what's the message here? Stay curious. Stay engaged. Keep reaching for new ideas, fresh experiences, and meaningful discussions. Whether it's learning a language, revisiting a childhood hobby, or picking up a book that challenges your thinking, your mind will thank you. Because the brain, much like the heart, is a living thing. It flourishes when it is stretched, surprised, and nourished with wonder. And it's never too late to begin. If you're still here and finding these insights meaningful, I'd love to know. Please comment number 2 below to let me know you're watching and staying mentally active right alongside us. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe and click the bell icon, so you never miss a new video filled with inspiration and wisdom. Your support helps us continue creating heartfelt content that informs, uplifts, and keeps our minds and hearts young. Let's keep learning and growing together. Number 3. Prioritize deep, meaningful connections. When people think about living to 100, they often picture strict diets, daily workouts, or intense health routines. But research continues to point to something far more profound, something simple, human, and often overlooked: the power of strong, supportive relationships. It turns out, one of the greatest predictors of a long, healthy life isn't found in a gym or on a nutrition label. It's found in the quiet presence of a trusted friend, in the laughter shared over a cup of coffee, in the warmth of being known and cared for. Study after study confirms it. People who are closely connected to others, whether through family, longtime friendships, or community, consistently live longer, healthier lives. This isn't just emotional well-being. It's physical. Chronic loneliness can raise cortisol levels, the body's stress hormone, triggering inflammation, high blood pressure, and even suppressing the immune system. Over time, the health effects of isolation can be just as harmful as smoking or obesity. On the other hand, a sense of belonging can calm the nervous system, support heart health, and build emotional resilience. In fact, in communities known as blue zones, regions where people often live beyond 100, strong social networks are a constant. Elders are not sidelined or forgotten. They are cherished, included, and remain active participants in daily life. Take, for example, Edward, a quiet man in his 80s who lost his wife and slowly began withdrawing from the world. He stopped attending Sunday services. He let go of his gardening club. And with each passing month, his energy dimmed. A gentle invitation from a neighbor to join a weekly breakfast gathering changed everything. What began as hesitant conversation over eggs and toast soon turned into laughter, connection, and purpose. Over time, Edward's blood pressure improved, his spirits lifted, and his doctor noted clear health gains. This is more than a heartwarming tale, it's science. A 50% increase in longevity has been observed among those with strong social bonds, compared to those who live in isolation. The good news? You don't need a vast social circle to benefit. Just a few close, supportive relationships can make all the difference. A phone call to a sibling, a walk with a neighbor, joining a book club or volunteer group. These simple acts, done regularly, are what keep our hearts, both literal and emotional, strong. So if you've ever thought that relationships were just a nice part of life, think again. They are essential. They're not just about companionship. They're about survival. They're about thriving. In a world that often moves too fast, let this be your gentle reminder. Connection is the medicine we all need, and one of the most natural ways to live not just longer but better. Number 4. Embrace calm, the quiet power of mindful living. When we think about what helps us live a long life, we often focus on what's on our plate or how much we move. But one of the most underestimated, yet deeply powerful, factors is how we respond to stress. Some stress is part of life. But when it becomes constant, when our minds are always racing and our hearts never quite rest, it begins to quietly erode our health. Chronic stress has been linked to premature aging, heart disease, weakened immunity, and even memory decline. And while those who live to 100 are not strangers to hardship, what sets them apart is how they carry their stress, lightly, mindfully, and with grace. They don't let stress take root and grow wild. Instead, they develop daily habits, small, steady practices, that help restore balance to their minds and bodies. Consider Leonard, a retired executive who spent decades chasing deadlines and living under pressure. After stepping away from his career, he found himself still tightly wound, his mind filled with worries about health, family, and finances. But everything began to shift when he started taking quiet morning walks, breathing deeply, and practicing mindfulness. Slowly, his sleep improved, his blood pressure lowered, and for the first time in years he felt peace settle into his life like a gentle tide. Around the world, centenarians naturally weave stress relief into their daily rhythms. In Okinawa, elders often greet the day with gentle stretching and community gatherings. In Sardinia, they sip tea in the afternoon sun. In other regions, people turn to prayer, meditation, journaling, or simply tending a garden. These aren't grand gestures, they're grounding rituals. And they work. Science backs this up. Regular relaxation practices lower inflammation, stabilize blood pressure, and even reduce the risk of dementia. More importantly, they help us recover from life's emotional storms with a steadier heart. Another key factor? Mindset. Long-lived individuals often share a particular way of seeing the world. They choose gratitude over grievance. They focus on what remains, not what's been lost. They find beauty in simple joys, a blooming flower, a shared laugh, a morning breeze through the window. This perspective doesn't erase pain or prevent struggle, but it changes the way we carry it. If stress has been your constant companion, let this be a gentle encouragement. It is never too late to pause, breathe, and choose a new rhythm. You don't need to overhaul your life. Sometimes just 5 minutes of stillness, a quiet reflection, or a daily walk beneath the trees is enough. Longevity isn't only about extending the length of life, it's about deepening the quality of each moment. So take time each day to be still, to let go, to breathe. The gift of calm may be the most healing medicine you've been missing, and it's available always right here in the present. If you're still here and finding these insights meaningful, I'd love to know. Please comment number 4 below to let me know you're watching and staying mentally active right alongside us. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe and click the bell icon, so you never miss a new video filled with inspiration and wisdom. Your support helps us continue creating heartfelt content that informs, uplifts, and keeps our minds and hearts young. Let's keep learning and growing together. Number 5. Eat with balance, not restriction. When we think about the diets of people who live past 100, it's easy to imagine strict rules, calorie charts, or complicated superfood regimens. But in reality, most centenarians aren't obsessed with what they eat. They simply eat with care, moderation, and a deep respect for food in its most natural form. Across the world's longest living communities, from the rolling hills of Sardinia to the peaceful islands of Okinawa, there's a common thread. These individuals eat fresh, wholesome meals made from ingredients close to the earth. Meals are not rushed or oversized, and food is rarely processed or packaged. Instead, it's real. It's grown, gathered, shared, and enjoyed. One particularly wise practice comes from Okinawa, the Hara Hachibu philosophy, which encourages people to stop eating when they are about 80% full. It's a small shift with a profound effect. Eating until you're just satisfied gives the body a chance to digest gently, rather than working overtime to process excess calories. This reduces inflammation, supports a healthy metabolism, and eases the burden on the heart and other vital organs. Let me share the story of Ruth, an 82-year-old who, like many of her generation, was raised to finish every bite on her plate. For decades, she ate 3 hearty meals a day without much thought. But after moving in with her daughter, a nurse who had studied nutrition, Ruth slowly began to change. She added more vegetables, reduced sugary snacks, and served herself slightly smaller portions. Within months, she noticed more energy, better sleep, and fewer digestive issues. It wasn't about dieting. It was about listening to her body. That's the heart of it, mindful eating. Choosing food that nourishes rather than numbs. Meals rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats, like olive oil or nuts, form the foundation of many centenarians' diets. Some include modest amounts of fish or lean meats, but meat is rarely the centerpiece. Instead of elimination, it's about balance. And it's not just what or how much they eat, but when. Many long-lived individuals eat their largest meal earlier in the day, giving their bodies time to digest before evening. Late-night snacking, so common in modern life, can disrupt metabolism, disturb sleep, and place unnecessary strain on the body. A lighter dinner and a longer overnight rest give the body time to restore and heal. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of how these elders eat is how they relate to food emotionally. Meals are not rushed or eaten alone in front of a screen. They are shared, often with family, neighbors, or community members. The act of eating together, slowly, with gratitude, helps regulate portions and deepens our sense of connection. Food becomes a joy, not a chore. A shared blessing, not a transaction. So if you're wondering how to support your body as it ages, know this. You don't need a perfect meal plan or a restrictive diet. Just begin with intention. Choose whole, natural foods. Eat slowly. Pay attention to how your body feels. Stop before you're overly full. And perhaps most importantly, whenever you can, share your meals with someone you care about. These small, sustainable choices don't just add years to your life. They add life to your years. Number 6. Live with purpose. A reason to rise each morning. Of all the habits shared by people who live well beyond 100, perhaps the most quietly powerful one is this. They wake up each day with a reason to live. It's not always grand. It's not about wealth, status, or even perfect health. It's about meaning. A deep sense that their life matters, to someone in some way. Across the world, centenarians often share this trait. Whether it's caring for a loved one, tending a garden, helping a neighbor, or simply savoring the morning light with gratitude, they have a purpose that carries them forward. And research confirms it. Having a sense of purpose is linked to lower stress, better sleep, healthier habits, and yes, a longer life. When we feel needed, when our actions feel meaningful, our bodies respond in kind. Cortisol drops. The heart slows. Our choices become more life-affirming. We stand taller, breathe deeper, and smile more often. Take Frank, age 87. A retired carpenter, he drifted into quiet restlessness after leaving his trade behind. Without his work, his days felt empty. That is, until his granddaughter asked him to teach her how to build a simple bench. That one request brought him back to life. He returned to his workshop, tools in hand, heart engaged. It wasn't just about building furniture. It was about building legacy, connection, and joy. In Okinawa, they call this ikigai, the reason you wake up in the morning. In Sardinia, elders continue to care for their animals or mentor their grandchildren. It's not the task itself that matters. It's the feeling that you matter. That your presence, your story, your wisdom still has a place in the world. And alongside this sense of purpose, these long-lived individuals also maintain gentle, natural routines. They don't go to the gym for hours. They move through life, walking to visit a friend, tending a garden, stirring soup in the kitchen. Their lives are active without strain, full without chaos. It's proof that we don't need intensity, we need intention. If you've ever wondered what gives life its deepest nourishment, perhaps this is it. Waking up each morning with something to give, something to enjoy, something to hope for. Purpose doesn't retire. It evolves. And the more we lean into it, the more we live, not just longer but richer, fuller, and more joyfully. Final thoughts. As we've explored together, the true keys to a long and meaningful life aren't hidden in intense workouts or rigid diets. They're found in the gentle rhythms of daily living, the kind that nourish both the body and the soul. Whether it's building deep relationships, eating with care, managing stress with grace, keeping the mind curious, living with purpose, or cultivating gratitude, each habit is a thread that, when woven together, creates a rich, enduring tapestry of wellness. And the beauty is, it's never too late to begin. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin, one small step, one meaningful habit, one quiet shift in perspective at a time. A long life isn't measured only in years, it's measured in how deeply we live those years. And you, right where you are, have the power to begin living more fully today. If this video has inspired you, I would truly love to hear from you. Please comment, "I choose to live well," below. Let us know which of these habits spoke to your heart the most. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll never miss another video focused on wisdom, wellness, and wholehearted living. Your presence here means the world to us, and your support helps us continue creating content that uplifts, informs, and reminds us all. Aging is not a decline, it's an awakening. Until next time, take gentle care. Stay curious, stay kind, and keep choosing a life filled with meaning.